In New Testament Volume 22, Accelerator got really powerful in quite a short span of time. Even at the beginning of the volume, he managed to nullify Kronzon's flaming sword, despite only recently making a contract with Clifford Puzzle 545. But why was this the case? Okay, Accelerator now had access to magical knowledge from the contract, but why was this enough to stop Kronzon's strongest attack that was powerful enough to even overpower Imagine Breaker, and is on par, if not stronger, than Ophinus's Gungnir? Gungnir being able to shatter universes when it's thrown. Accelerator had only recently made a contract to Clipper, so it seems somewhat strange he was able to gain magical knowledge that is extensive and informative enough to be used as a counter to a magic god level spell. Or so it seems. There is actually a reason why Accelerator was able to do this in such a short time frame, and how he casually stopped Kronzon's trump card. I only discovered this when I reread the short fight, and discovered something I didn't really look into when I was first reading the fight when the volume released. When Kronzon observed what Accelerator just did, she was completely gobsmacked, which is the British word for being very confused. Since she just used the ability to defeat Toma, she never expected that Accelerator would be able to survive, let alone nullify an attack that uses power from the very top of the tree of Sephiroth, the sphere known as Keter, all the way down to the physical realm to be used as her attack. The key to how Accelerator did this lies in what Kronzon said to him after her attack failed. This is the quote from Kronzon directly from the novel, by the way. So you're going to have to deal with my impression of Kronzon, so try not to cringe. You partially install the power's directionality into the calculations for your power. That is the number 11, which exists in the clip-off, yet is not an imaginary number. Is that the guide to the upside-down tree I built? This awkward product of science has insolently reached the level of probationer? Yeah, that was my best Kronzon voice. I'm sorry. That was the best I could do. Moving on. There are a lot of interesting things about this quote. There is a lot of terminology that is unfamiliar with the reader, but that is basically New Testament 22 in a nutshell, as the trees are quite complicated to understand, hence why I made a video about it a long time ago. Well, it seems like a long time ago, for me at least. The first sentence of the quote is pretty self-explanatory. Accelerator had installed part of the power of Flaming Sword into the calculations for his own vector control. But how the hell did Accelerator manage to install this into his power? Especially when Flaming Sword moves ridiculously fast if we scale it to Gungnir. Kronzon then states that it is the number 11 that exists in the clip-off. Now, what the hell does the number 11 actually mean in this context? We should all know that Kronzon is the demon of the abyss of Sephiroth in the Tree of Life itself. That the abyss is represented by the sphere of Da'at, which is located in the middle of the top 3 spheres on the tree. It represents the entirety of the tree, which is why Kronzon is able to use the Flaming Sword technique, which passes through all the spheres located on the tree before appearing in the surface world to be used as an attack. Meanwhile, on the tree of Clip-Off, the equivalent of Da'at is known as Belial. Belial is the hidden sphere of the tree of evil, or the tree of Clip-Off, located where Da'at would be on the tree of Sephiroth. The reason why Belial and Da'at are so important is because they represent knowledge of their respective trees. When you reach either of these hidden spheres of the tree, then you gain all the knowledge of that respective tree. So if you reach Belial, you'll gain all the knowledge of the tree of Clip-Off. If you reach Da'at, then you receive all the knowledge of the tree of Sephiroth. And magical knowledge is very important in Index for countering other magic users, as seen in many cases when you see magicians fight other magicians. So, because of the contract with Clipper Puzzle 545, Accelerator now gained her knowledge of the Tree of Clip-Off. Kuronzon stated she created Clipper to be the guide of the Upside Down Tree, aka the Tree of Clip-Off, aka the Tree of Evil. Clipper basically represents the entirety of the tree. As Kuronzon is a being of the Tree of Sephiroth, she probably saw it as important that she create a demon similar to herself, but weaker and would function as a guide for the other tree. So this is why Clipper's knowledge was able to help Accelerator, as he could use the inverse of the art Belial to easily nullify Flaming Sword, and without this he would have probably died. Kuronzon also describes Accelerator as a probationer. This is actually what a student's title would be in the spiritual organisation known as Argentium Astrum, which translates to Silver Star, which was what Ophinus called Alistair in New Testament 9, if you remember that. And this is abbreviated to the AA, that is what they are known as. The AA aim to achieve spiritual perfection of the body and mind via different magic rituals, and this involved passing trials known as Aethers to eventually cross the abyss of Sephiroth and gain all the knowledge of the tree. And this was a real organisation in real life, by the way, because, as you may know, a lot of these concepts and groups on the magic side, especially when it comes to Alistair, are based on real magic organisations. Well, not real magic, but people taking a lot of drugs and pretending there is magic and demons. But regardless, it is still based off a real thing. Since Accelerator is new to these magical concepts, and yet already has a firm grasp on them, Kuronzon refers to him as a probationer. So that was why Accelerator was able to stop Flaming Sword. However, Kuronzon realised how he had managed to stop the attack, and was able to use her hair to nullify Accelerator's vector, which caused Accelerator to suffer from internal damage to his organs, as she already understood what the basic principles behind Accelerator's power, and used an ability that would damage Accelerator after he used his calculations to determine how much force he should redirect. Anyway, that is what I wanted to talk about. Let me know if you want to see more New Testament videos in the future. Subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.